tell us a little bit about your portal process and what had you settle on Mizzou as the spot to be?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty early in the season, and then as things kind of went along, and kind of you hear a little bit of chatter of whether or not your head coach or the staff will be there, and then when everything kind of broke out that our head coach got fired, kind of had to open up my options, but at the same time, I was still looking to stay at West Virginia, kind of give West Virginia a chance, kind of see who they brought in, and what the situation would be like just overall, and for me if I did stay, and then kind of like kind of broke it down and talked about it, and then figured if you guys hit the transfer portal, kind of see my options, go from there, and kind of end up just working out where I came to Mizzou after my visit from Washington.
What was Mizzou's pitch to you? Obviously, there's a lot of talent in the linebacker room right now. What did they say to sell you on this program?
Yeah, I mean, just they wanted me to come in and be a guy, come in and help the linebacker room, and elevate that group, come in and not only come in and compete for a starting job, but come and get the starting job, and just bring whatever I can to the table and come help this defense and the team.
Just I got a chance to chat with your brother, after the Super Bowl. He said he was excited for this opportunity for you. What have you learned from your brother in this football career? How excited was your family for this move?
Yeah, having my brother has helped me a lot. I mean, he's a big reason why I'm here, and the type of player I am. And the biggest thing he's just showed me throughout my whole career is just how to work, and that's the biggest thing he's shown me. He doesn't really talk very much. Personality is really stays at the same spot all the time, but he's really shown me how to work, and just how to carry himself as an athlete and as a business. How it is now in college, and just how to carry yourself every day. But that's the biggest thing I take away from him.
How do you describe the standard, whether it be spoken or unspoken, when you come from a family of pro football players, and kind of what's expected of you?
Yeah, no, the standard's high. The standard's high every day. Like they say, brothers do every day, and the standard's high, and I carry that on my shoulders every day. Not only the last name, but who I am, and just want to raise the standard every time, and set the standard whenever I'm on that football field or in the weight room or whatever I may be doing outside of here.
All the changes coming to college athletics at the moment, I'm curious how different the recruiting process was for you from your high school recruitment to this transfer portal recruitment this time around.
Yeah, definitely different. I mean, you can't really say you can, like in high school, you want to have a relationship with coaches, stuff like that. You can't really go off of that. Once you hit the transfer portal, it's a business, and there's a lot of the guys in the transfer portal, and it's whether or not, okay, do I see a fit? Do I want to go to the school, take a visit, or no, or not? Because you don't have all the time in the world like you do in high school, those 4 or 3 years, whatever it may be, to take how many visits you want. So you have to really make it a business and decide, if it's the best fit for you, if that's the conference you want to be in, the team you want to be around, or whatever it may be. If you know someone on that team, kind of do some, research before you take a visit. But yeah, it's definitely a big difference from high school to college, recruiting like the portal.
Sorry, what have been some of the guys you kind of gravitated towards since you've been on campus?
I would say it's some of the transfer guys. I mean, obviously Johnny Williams, like I came with him from West Virginia, so me and him always been pretty tight. But I said that I need other transfer guys like Jalen Catalon, Santana, Mose. But I feel like the whole group of transfers are just real tight, even with Bo, Pagula. But the whole transfer group, I feel like we're all pretty tight, and just the locker room in general, the brother that we have down there, and just guys in general. Of course, most of the time we're gonna spend with is the LB room. So a lot of those guys in the LB room, when we're in the weight room or whatever it may be, or just outside of here, you spend a good amount of time with those guys too.
So when you're thinking about some of these rule changes that are happening, like what's your process as an athlete for figuring out what you can and can't do in this day and age? How do you go about navigating that?
Well, really just, take it day by day and just let the coaches kind of handle that part of it, and then teach us how we need to, how we need to change our technique from day to day, whatever it is. But it's kind of the day and age where you kind of have to just take it day by day and just kind of adjust with the flow of things.
You mentioned Jalen, with the experience that he brings to this program, do you find it easy to take what he says and implement it into your own game, and what have you noticed about his leadership style in general?
With Jalen Catalon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great leader. He's an older guy. He's been around college for a little while, and really smart player. Great guy to have behind you, especially in the back end. He's going to make any mistakes that may happen in front of him, right? And yeah, I mean, if he has something to say, we're all going to listen, and because we know he's been around for a while, and he knows what he's talking about, and he knows ball. So anything that he may be telling me or to the rest of the defense, we're all going to be open ears.
Josiah, a couple of spring camps ago, obviously in Morgantown, you were on the fast track, then injury struck. even though that was a painful experience in more ways than one, what were you able to learn from spending that time basically shadowing Coach Coons, and how were you able to carry it over into last season?
Yeah, I mean, I think that whole process really helped me. If I could go back, I wouldn't change it going through that. Like, you know, one of the biggest things that always helped me is, like, you know, get closer to God, you know, from that standpoint, and also just taking the time away just to realize, you know, what I wanted, and kind of knowing that, you know, you can't take anything for granted. You know, it's a blessing to just be able to go out there and work out and go out to practice even when we are hurting and sore. So kind of looking from a different standpoint, and also just, you know, just lights a fire in you, you know, when you can't be out there playing and practicing and doing what you want to do. So.
Josiah, can you talk about your relationship with linebackers coach Derek Nicholson? Obviously, you guys are both new to the program. I guess maybe talk about your relationship, and then maybe your perspective on the program as well with you both.
Yeah, he's a great guy, great person and coach. You know, I actually talked to him early when I was in the portal when he was at Miami, pretty early, and then it's cool to see how things work out. And he ends up coming here, but great coach, great energy. You can tell he loves the game. I mean, he's a former player, so, and he knows his ball. I love having him as a coach, and you know, great guy you can also go talk to, and you know, he's not gonna also just talk about ball. He's gonna talk about life, you know, talk about the word, you know, and just help you in different ways of life, and just kind of just, you know, implement different things into you, not just as a football player, but also as a man.
So I Coach talked about how great the defense is looking early on. Is there something is that something you can see or feel and think, like, I know it's April, but you know, come the fall, we're gonna be a very dangerous group?
Yeah, no doubt. I think we have the chance, you know, not only be one of the best in the SEC, but one of the best defenses in the country. You know, there's a lot of talent in that room when it comes from either up front all the way to the back end. There's a lot of talent. I feel like, you know, we keep taking day by day, you know, and once we get to fall camp and just, you know, trying to get better at the little things and the details, I think we have a chance to, you know, be one of the best defenses in the country.
Was there maybe one of the practice number 4 or something where you're just like, he made these plays and this is maybe a little bit different than what I'm used to or what I've seen other places do?
Do you mean by like the competition level?
Yeah, just like in spring ball, is there a moment where you're just like, oh, okay, I'm starting to see what coach is talking about as far as like how important the defense is looking? So you can point out, I guess.
I'm about to rephrase this a little confusing on what you put it.
Just is there maybe a play, a moment where you just know like, okay, this defense is really good?
Okay, yeah. I mean, I would say definitely the first scrimmage we had in the stadium where, I mean, defense was just, I mean, balling. But, I mean, you obviously see the talent that we have from day in, day out, the plays that guys make, especially when it comes to I think, our D-line, especially our DN room. The amount of talent that we have in that room where we can get to the pass rusher. I mean, it's the best pass rusher group I've ever been around, and D-line group I've been around. Just individual guys and as a whole. But definitely, I mean, I feel like just every day, I mean, it just, you know, it showed me like, you know, what we can do. Even on the mistakes that we do make, it shows that, you know, how good we can really be, you know, when we just clean up the little things.
Josiah, with children and siblings of well-known people, especially in athletics, some people see that as like a shadow or a burden. Some people really embrace that. What's kind of been your journey with trying to create your own legacy in a family of pro football players?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, you know, from a younger age, you know, having my dad and then also having my brother, someone in the NFL, you know, being in the shadows of, you know, 2 great players, you know, I embrace it, you know, and always, you know, every day I always have a chip on my shoulder to always, you know, to outwork anybody around me, but also, you know, also trying to be better than what my dad and my brother were. And, you know, I always embrace it, and they always help me throughout the way, and just coaching me up on the little things, whatever it may be, but, yeah, I just embrace it. I mean, what else can you do besides embrace it? You're not going to be running away from it.
All right. Thank you, Josiah.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Josiah.